All right then, very good evening to you. It's 3 minutes to 7, so take it away there.
Lovely, thanks Luke. Well, as you said, we're here in Gorteen, the home of St. Joseph's, and the score is 0-0 between Kilkishen Bodyke and Feakle Killanena, because the game hasn't started yet, but it'll start in the next few minutes. I see both sides are kind of green, Luke. So I see the Feakle Killanena girls have turned their shirts inside out.
Well, we did make a comment on that when the second team came out onto the pitch. We're sort of there thinking these two teams look fairly similar colour-wise, and the commentary team were going to be struggling. But
that's right. Well, our commentary team this evening of Pat McNamara and Maura Conway. And we want to make life as easy for them as we can.
Yeah, they are, and I think it's a good job that it's Feakle Killanena have the jerseys inside out, because the two people commentating are from that neck of the wood, so they should know who all the girls are.
And we have a few more people lined up this evening. Cormac Dillon, we hope, will be in Killanena to cover the Scariff Ogonnelloe versus St. Joseph's game. Carmel Dillon is certainly in Broadford there, where Broadford are entertaining Corofin this evening. Whitegate are playing Clarecastle Ballyea, and we trying to make contact there with Davy Solan. And Brideen Dinan is in. She's still out herself, but she's doing the next best thing. She's covering the game for Scariff Bay Community Radio in Tulla, where they're taking on Eire Og. And hopefully we will have reports on the Clooney versus Truagh Clonlara game, which is also on this evening. So there's a full lineup, Luke. So I suppose our commentators are nearly ready to go. So we'll hand it over to Maura Conway and first of all, Pat McNamara.
Thank you, Jim. And we're as ready as we can be here at Gorteen, the home of St. Joseph's Bearfield, on a kind of a dullish evening, but at least the rain has gone away. And you're welcome, everybody, to this round two Senior Camogie Championship game between Feakle Killanena and Kilkishen Bodyke. Feakle Killanena had a disappointing result the first day out last Friday evening against Truagh Clonlara. Of course, a depleted side, we'll talk about that later. And Kilkishen Bodyke will be in good spirits after a very good draw with Eire Og. I'm joined here in analysis by a lady who's very good to us to help us out here on Scariff Bay on many occasions before. It's Maura Conway. Maura, you're welcome.
Thanks, Pat.
Depleted Killanena team, Maura, we're up against it this evening.
Yeah, we're up against it this evening, Pat. Like, we're missing 4, I suppose, of our starting team from the seniors last year. And we replace them with younger players or whatever. But by and large, again, it's a good opportunity for younger players to go out and get a feel for the senior set-up and senior game as well as that. But looking forward to, I suppose, the return of those players as well in a couple of weeks' time, which will benefit and strengthen up the Feakle Killanena side. Looking at Kilkishen Bodyke, I mean, they have some very, I suppose, experienced players. A lot of those players have a lot of experience with Clare Junior and Clare Senior playing this year and the last couple of years, whatever. So, Killanena and Feakle Killanena have a battle on their hands this evening, but nothing that they don't stand up to, I would imagine.
Exactly, Maura. You have to go into every game with hope, and as you say, Feakle Killanena will be very depleted. We're missing the Conway cousins, Robin and Regan, Eire McNamara and Rachel also, who are both McNamaras but not cousins. Louise O'Callaghan also missing, and of course Maeve Brady is on a year out as well. So that's quite a bunch of and if you go back further, Vera Lucknan was part of this squad from the Winning Intermediate as well. So it's a very, very hard losses to take. But Sinead O'Callaghan's away also. But nevertheless, it's as Maura said, an opportunity for the other girls to make their presence felt and maybe fight for their places and to know that they are capable of playing senior camogie. Very impressive looking Kilkishen Bodyke outfit, and I'll give you the teams now while we have a moment. Referee this evening is Noel Quinn. So in goals is Edel McNamara, Rebecca Burke, Orla O'Brien and Katie Frost at the full back line, Emer Murphy, Alana Ryan and Caoimhe Kelly at half back. Midfield is Arnie Linehan and Eilish Whitney. Half forward line is Siobhan Linehan, Kate O'Gorman and Kate Lynch, and full forward line is Liam Minogue, Hannah Minogue and Shauna Doyle. For Feakle Killanena in goals, Roisin Quilligan, full back line Sinead McMahon, Eileen Daly and Laura McGrath. An unusual position for Laura back in the corner. Half back line is Sophie Conway, Claire McNamara and Aoife Toohey. In midfield, Evelyn Duggan and Ziad Spillane. The half forward line is Eleanor Nugent, Roisin McMahon and Shauna Kenny. And the full forward line comprises Clodagh Maloney, Lorna McNamara and Aoife Torpey. So we're almost. Noel Quinn has the captains up, and I see the Killanena girls, Feakle girls have their jerseys turned inside out, would make the numbers a little bit tricky here. I'll be expecting plenty of prompts here from Maura, because while we recognise most of them, the numbers are very hard to read, and so whatever toss was done, the jerseys are similar enough. Kilkishen Bodyke in their black and green, I suppose, reflective of both, and a bit of gold in the middle, and Killanena Feakle with blue and green and navy, representing both former individual clubs as well. So we're almost ready to start here. Starting very much on time, and the scoreboard is in operation opposite us, and we'll keep an eye on the clock as referee Noel Quinn is about to throw in the ball.
Well, we're going to Tulla and Brideen Dinan. Tulla are playing Eire Og, and that game threw in at 6:45. Brideen, how are things going?
They're going well now. There's about 23 minutes gone, and Tulla are 1-2 to 4 points. So a bit of a rocky start on both sides. I think both sides are kind of nervous, but everyone's settling into it now, and just kind of going tit for tat now all the time.
Okay, so it's close anyway, and we're heading 23 minutes, so we'll talk to you again maybe at half-time and see how things are going. Thank you, Brideen.
Yeah, no bother at all. Thanks.
Okay, Scariff Ogonnelloe are in Killanena, and they're playing Joseph's, and watching that game for us is Cormac Heffernan. Cormac, how are things going there? There's about 15 minutes gone.
It's about 12 minutes gone here. It's 4 points to 1. So it's a largely subdued game so far. I suppose we've got a few frees from Scariff Ogonnelloe from Aisling Corbett, and 2 points from play, and 2 points from frees for Dura Bearfield. So it's largely subdued. It hasn't really kicked off as yet, but it's hopefully things will progress in the next few minutes, and we'll get a bit more liveliness in the action. You know? Okay, yeah, I suppose no surprises in selection anyway. Aisling Corbett is back after missing the last week's game, so she's making her mark already. She is, yeah, and there's a few injuries for Scariff Ogonnelloe. Susan Daly is out, and Leisha O'Donnell is out, so Ciara Doyle has gone back full back. So there's a few positional changes, but yeah, it's otherwise there's nothing too surprising there. Lovely, Cormac. Listen, thanks a million, and we'll talk to you later on. Very good. Thanks very much. Bye. Yes, Páraic McMahon from the Clare Echo. He's watching Truagh Clonlara against Clooney Quinn. How are things going there, Páraic?
Yeah, with 22 minutes gone here in Cratloe, it's Truagh Clonlara leading 1-9 to 3 points. The conditions are in Truagh Clonlara's favour, and they're making the most of it. They got a 3rd-minute goal through Roisin Begley, Michelle Caulfield dropping the ball in, and Roisin doing very well to dispossess the Clooney Quinn goalie, Ella Maloney, before putting the ball in the back of the net. Clooney Quinn, playing with the experienced Deirdre Murphy as a sweeper, are struggling at times to get the ball, to keep the ball in their forward line when they get it up there. Whereas Truagh Clonlara are very much dominating possession, and the last year's beaten county finalists are going well. They of course recorded a victory last weekend, so they're hoping to get their second set of points on the board. So with about 24 minutes on the clock there, it's Truagh Clonlara 1-9, Clooney Quinn 4 points in Cratloe. Páraic McMahon from the Clare Echo, many thanks, and we'll talk to you again in a while.
And it's now a goal and 10 for Kilkishen Bodyke, 6 points, 7 point margin, as referee Noel Quinn blows the half-time whistle. So here in 14, after the most enjoyable first half, I suppose we feared that a depleted Feakle Killanena would probably not be able to match scoring-wise Kilkishen Bodyke. Nevertheless, the game has been interesting, and Feakle Killanena certainly have given as much as they've got in many aspects of play, but the performance of Kate Lynch, I suppose Shauna Doyle with that goal, Louise Whitney and a few more, but great fighting as well from Lorna McNamara's got some super scores. So and now we're able to bring in a friend of ours, a good friend of ours who's here watching this game from his media perch. It's Derek Dormer. Derek, you've seen the game, and I've been saying often with Maura here that Killanena Feakle missing 4 or 5 first teamers who are missing for various reasons, some abroad, some injured. Nevertheless, keeping the game competitive even though there is a bit of a margin.
Absolutely, Pat. They're working hard. I just feel that they have their matchups wrong. Zian Spillane is kind of lost in the middle of the park. Kate Lynch is running amok. She's got 3 scores from play, 4 I think, won a couple of frees. Zian is not a midfielder. I feel, it could be a tough second half against the wind for Feakle Killanena. Maybe they'd be better off if they placed Lorna McNamara centre forward, put Zian in the full forward line, crowd out the middle and try and get quick ball into Zian, who's more dangerous in nearer the goal. I think she's lost out in the middle of the park, and she's a huge player, inter-county senior player. It's just not working for her out there in the centre of the park. Kate Lynch's vast experience, and I think that's where the platform for Kilkishen Bodyke has been in the first half, is in the middle of the park.
Absolutely. I suppose if you were managing Feakle Killanena, you'd be saying one more thing as well. Whatever you do, it goes down the right wing, it goes down the left wing, but it doesn't go down to Elena Ryan.
Absolutely. Look, Elena Ryan is mopping it up, but I would sit Lorna McNamara in on top of Elena Ryan to cancel one from the other.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd let Shawnee Kenny into the middle of the park, and I'd just try and deliver low ball into ZN. They're going to need green flags. They're playing into a wind in the second half, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's ominous that this could be 10 or 12 points for a finish.
Well, there was always that fear. I think Maura was saying off air before, and we were all saying that this could get a bit one-sided. But
they have worked very hard for each other. They're throwing their bodies on the line. It is not a lack of effort. Sometimes, Pat, you're just outgunned,
That's about the size of it. Listen, thanks for that. And now we're heading back to Jim for the moment, so we'll take a break here and see what Jim has in store for you, but I'm sure he'll have news for you.
Yeah, thanks very much, Pat. And we're heading straight to Tulla. Tulla kicked or threw in at 6:45, and they're actually into the second half now. Tulla against Eire Og. They were up 1 goal and 2 points to 4 points when we last spoke to Brideen there. How's it going now, Brideen?
It's not going exactly planned to plan at the minute. There's 40 minutes gone, and it's 2-7 to 1-3 Eire Og are up at the minute. So.
Okay, sorry, repeat that again.
It's not fully confirmed yet. 2 seconds now.
Yeah, well, we'll get it right anyway, Brideen.
Yeah, I don't know. They haven't changed on the scoreboard yet, so I don't know if it was a goal fully confirmed or not yet. So
okay, we'll check with that. But it sounds like a very tight game.
It is. It's tit for tat now at the minute, so it's everyone giving everything. So it's really intense now at the minute. So.
Okay, the goal that is in question there, who was that for, if it's the Warders?
Eire Og.
Eire Og,
okay. Eire Og, yeah.
So what was the score before that?
1-3 to 1-7 to Eire Og.
Okay, so 4 points.
I'll get back to you. I'll get it confirmed the next time we go ring.
We'll get the next time. Okay, Brideen Dinan in Tulla, many thanks for joining us.
Perfect, thanks a million.
Okay, God bless. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Yeah, Carmel is down in Broadford where they're playing Corofin. That match started at 7:15, so it must be heading towards half-time, Carmel.
A few minutes, Jim, to half-time. The score here is Broadford 1 goal and 1 point to 1 goal to Corofin. Corofin started with a goal. Broadford came back and scored a point and then a goal. Broadford have a lot of missed chances, so they have 6 or 7 missed chances at the moment. They should be up a lot more.
I know.
And it's just half-time now in a few minutes.
Okay, it's almost half-time. What's Corofin score again? Broadford 1-1.
And Corofin have a goal, 1 goal.
Have a goal, so you're a point up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're a point up.
Lovely.
Tough game, good camogie, tough game, but lovely conditions here in Broadford this evening.
Yes, well, of course, Broadford, things are always sunny in Broadford, Carmel.
Not always, but the pitch is immaculate, in fairness to her. So the pitch here is immaculate, the setting and everything.
If you couldn't hurl in Broadford, you couldn't hurl anywhere. Listen, that's great.
God.
Yeah, we'll come back to you later on again. So 1-1 to a goal, very close, coming up to half-time.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks very much, Carmel. Cormac Dillon is in Killanena watching Scariff Ogonnelloe against St. Joseph's. Cormac, it must be well half-time at that game as well.
It is indeed, yeah. Jim, there was, I suppose, just after I was speaking to you last, really, a long ball in from Dura Bearfield and full forward. I think it was Ciara Guilfoyle caught it, turned and shot to the net. And in fairness to Rachel Bailey, she made a great save, but it kind of broke out and pulled on into the net. So that was left it at 1-2 to 5 points, and that kind of spurred Scariff Ogonnelloe to get into gear. And then they kind of started running at the Dura Bearfield defence in the second half of the first half. And rattled off 3 or 4 points. So the half-time score is 10 points to 1-3.
Sorry, 10 points, Cormac.
To Scariff Ogonnelloe, 1-3 to Dura Bearfield.
1-3 to Dura Bearfield. The Scariff Ogonnelloe sounded like they needed a wake-up call, and they got it.
They did, absolutely, yeah. But they've kind of shaken themselves now in the last 10 minutes of the first half, and we're about to get underway here again now in about, I'd say, 1 minute.
10 to 6 points.
Yeah,
perfect. Kilkishen Bodyke.
Okay, Cormac.
Possession at the moment.
Lovely, we're just getting underway here for the second half, so we'll go back to Pat.
Looking for Hannah.
Try Páraic again. Páraic, can you hear us?
Which would help if we plugged him in.
If we plugged him in. Páraic wasn't plugged in. It's a wonder he's going at all.
No, Páraic, I have to apologise for that one, Páraic. I had to plugged in.
Okay. No, funny.
How are things going? It was, we were saying to our listeners there, it was 1-9 to 3 points after 22 minutes in favour of Truagh Clonlara.
Yeah, scoreline still in Truagh Clonlara's favour. 35 minutes on the clock here, and it's Truagh Clonlara 2-15, Clooney Quinn 6 points. Clooney Quinn, beaten senior finalist in 2014. This is their first game back in the senior ranks after winning last year's intermediate final against Whitegate. They're struggling a small bit, obviously, against a very experienced Truagh Clonlara team who contested last year's county final and were very close to winning it, obviously brought it to a replay. But Anya O'Loughlin getting a goal on 27 minutes for Truagh Clonlara, and excellently worked again. Michelle Caulfield had the assist, as we said, for the first goal. She was also involved in getting goal number 2. She had a turnover, worked the ball up the field to Niamh Ryan, who made an excellent hand pass to Emer Kelly. Emer Kelly found Anya O'Loughlin, and she made no mistake in finding the back of the net. They then finished out the half with points from Laura Foley and Roisin Begley to lead 2-14 to 5 points at half time. On the restart, Laura Foley again, she's been good from place ball. She converted a 45, and Clooney Quinn responded with Orla Duggan's first point on 4 minutes into the second half. So the gap is 15 points. It's Truagh Clonlara 2-15, Clooney Quinn 6 points. The rain is hopefully stopping just as we're about to finish this small report. So Clooney Quinn will hope to get themselves into the game, but at the minute it's very hard to see anything other than a Truagh Clonlara win.
I know, we can see the rain off in the distance, Páraic. We're looking at it, with anyway, what stage is the game at again?
We've 37 minutes played now, so the last 20 minutes of this game. Truagh Clonlara, a win for them would almost seal their place in the knockout stages, and it looks like that's going to be the case.
Perfect, lovely. Okay, Páraic McMahon of the Clare Echo, many thanks, and we'll talk to you again in a bit.
Thanks, Jim.
Yeah, we go to Whitegate now, and Whitegate have Clarecastle Ballyea down there. It was a 7:30 start, so it must be close enough to half time. And Davy Solan is there for us. Davy, how are things going?
They're just blown, and Whitegate are leading 3-6 to 3 points at half time. Kind of wet blustery conditions in Whitegate. So in the first minute, Susan Fahey got a point from play. That was followed nearly immediately after with Aideen Hickey getting a point from play. And then after 7 minutes, then Greta Hickey got Whitegate's third point from play. And then Susan Fahey then got kind of a hefty challenge on Susan Fahey, and she'd get a bit of treatment, had to go off for a few minutes. Kate Keenan took her place just for a few minutes as a kind of a blood sub, and Susan came back on again. She was having a right battle with Cal Brown, who's playing centre back for Clarecastle Ballyea. But after Susan came on in, she after 11 minutes she got another point from play, so 4 points to no score. And then in the 13th minute, there was a bit of a shemage inside in the square, and the fullback under pressure picked the ball up off the ground. The referee spotted it, and he gave a 21-metre free. And Susan Julie stayed up, and she rattled the back of the net with the 21-metre free. So that was Whitegate 1, the no score. So the first score to come for.
I'd say we've lost that call, Jim.
We've lost Davy, and we don't know what. Oh yeah, the score is 3-6 to 3 points.
Right, we'll go back.
And it's half time.
We'll go back
we'll just do a very quick report. We'll go to Killanena again, and Scariff Ogonnelloe against St Joseph's and Cormac Dillon. And Cormac, you must be approaching the end in Killanena.
We're very close to it now here. It's actually Dora Bearfield is just after getting the goal. So upfield is 2-5 to Dora Bearfield, 15 points to Scariff Ogonnelloe. So it's there's 4-point lead for Scariff Ogonnelloe at the minute.
Okay, perfect. And you're approaching full time.
Very close to it now. 1 minute, I'd say, 1 or 2 minutes.
Okay, we'll give you a shout once more for a final wrap-up, Cormac. Thank you very much. We'll go back here for the closing stages.
Praise for the referee from Broadford. And without that much injury time, maybe 3 minutes, it's 1:15. The final piston has gone. 1 goal and 15. That's 18 points for Kilkishen Bodyke. 9 points for Feakle Killanena. That's a margin of 9 points, if my sums are correct. And again, an enjoyable game, some good individual displays. But in fairness, we must say, Derek, thanks for coming back to us again. The result has gone the way it deserved to go. Some really good performances from Kilkishen Bodyke, and a deserved 9-point victory.
Yeah, look, deserving winners. They got the job done in the first half. But I was very impressed with Feakle Killanena's second half performance. Sophie Conway thundered into it. You know, there was more intensity from him, and they only lost the second half 5 points to 3, playing against a very, very strong Bees. So the damage was done in the first half. I just think, you know, unfortunately they got their matchups wrong at the start, and maybe a bit of, you know, star-struckness playing against the more experienced outfit from the younger players from Feakle Killanena. You know, but when they realised that they were as good as them, you know, they thundered into it. And I think the second half is a fairer reflection of the balance between the two teams. Kilkishen Bodyke just that little bit of extra quality in the first half and the experience, and they got the job done. You know, 110-6 up at half time, winning by 7, 115-9. You know, a far more competitive second half, and you know, Feakle can take that away from this. You know,
with the players are missing. And Derek, some very good individual displays on both sides.
Yeah, look. Kilkishen Bodyke's top players stood up. You know, Alana Ryan was immense throughout. You know, she had Lorna McNamara to deal with, and sometimes she had Zian, and sometimes Shauna Kenny. But Alana Ryan's a top player. Like, let's have no doubt about it. And Kate O'Gorman and Kate Lynch, you know, they showed their county experience. Quiva Kelly was outstanding. And Feakle Killanena, Lorna worked very, very hard. Shauna Kenny worked hard. You know, Zian worked hard. I think just she was in the wrong position.
Eileen Daly full back for
Eileen Daly was outstanding, and Sophie Conway had an immense second half.
She had.
Yeah, immense second half for a young girl. I mean, I don't know her mother that well, but I'd say she had a few words of wisdom for her there, you know, this morning now, Pat. But no, she gave an exhibition there of, look, work ethic, Pat. You know, you can't beat work ethic. And it was just tremendous from her for the entire 30 minutes. She never gave up. She kept hooking, blocking, chasing them down. And look, if you work hard enough, the proof's in the pudding. 5 points to 3 in the second half. That was from work rate from Feakle Killanena. A bit of work rate that they lacked at the start of the first half. They stood off Kilkishen, but I kind of looked up to them and said, you know, they didn't expect to kind of win, and they kind of stood off them. But when they got in at half time, they realised, hang on, we're as good as these. Yeah, we're as good as them, and they went out and showed it in the second half. So it was positives for both sides. Kilkishen would like to be delighted with the points, but Feakle Killanena will be delighted with their young players, the way they stood up in the second half, and it gives them hope, you know, to work on for the next game.
Absolutely.
You know,
but a very enjoyable game overall. I mean, again, this senior championship and intermediate championship as well, indeed, in Camogie gives us a very enjoyable sport. And I mean, you know, again, just watching the skills in there, it's just a pleasure to see the standards of Camogie are so high in Clare at the moment.
Look, absolutely, Pat. And look, there's no doubt that like Clare teams have made the last 5 senior Munster finals. Scariff Ogonnelloe won 2. Eire Og unfortunately lost 3 finals. But whoever comes out of this senior championship, have no doubt, they will be favourites to win Munster. I mean, that's the level of the standard that we have at the moment. And it's outstanding when you think Cork were in the All-Ireland senior final. But if whatever Cork club comes out, if they have to face the Scariff Ogonnelloe or Truagh Clonlara, now you know my pick this year.
Yes,
I think Truagh will win it.
I think so too.
I think the Cork club will fear no one wants to draw Clare.
With that in mind, it'll be very important for the Clare management, I suppose, structure to be put in place in time.
Whoever that may be.
Unfortunately, that present structure or surprisingly, I suppose, gone, but that's another story for another day. We'll talk about that again next time. Derek, thanks for joining us with your thoughts as usual.
No problem.
I think I have another a Kilkishen mentor to talk there. Jim Lynch is going to us. Maura, you can stay with us for a minute. Maura will let you up at the end. And now I'm joined by Jim Lynch, mentor on the Kilkishen Bodyke side. First of all, Jim, the margin of 9 points, just about deserved in fairness. You were much the better team, and some of your individuals, great performances, and I suppose a depleted Feakle Killanena team did put it up to you, but overall, the right result.
Yeah, it was very important to us that we got a good start tonight. We're well aware of this Feakle team, and there has been times in the past, we'll say, when they have been up 11 points at half time. Now they were, down a few players tonight, and we were aware of that, and it was important for us, to kind of show up that, because if we didn't, facing into again with a full team, you're back to square one again. Now we had a good first half, we opened up very well, and then we played some nice hurling. But in the second half, as you said earlier there, Feakle did come at us a lot, and there were worrying times to, early in the second half. The first 20 minutes were getting a bit edgy there on the sideline and things, And if they had got a goal, it would have brought them back into it, But we wouldn't expect anything else from Feakle now, coming down to play us, So we were well aware of that. And we treated this match with fierce respect, because we had a good draw with Eire Og Killanena, and we didn't want to offset that by coming down tonight and, kind of flopping as such. But, they did start off very well, and they went very well in the first half.
Right, and your individuals, as I say, were outstanding. Your county players stood out, but of course, other players I thought stood out as well. But next game, obviously, you're in a great position, 3 points after 2 matches. Truagh Clonlara, many people's favourites for this championship. That's a game neutrals will look forward to, and I'm sure you are as well.
Yeah, we're in a good position now, and we're going into Truagh Clonlara. We have a few new players on the team, young players. They're playing very well. We're very happy with them. We blooded them, during the year. It's been a funny old year, having said that, with blooding players and things. But to have stood up to the plate now, and they're going well. Truagh Clonlara, well, they're a very good team. They're like Eire Og Killanena, so we'd feel that we have every chance going in against them as well now. We're kind of on a bit of a high. We want to keep our feet on the ground at the same time.
Momentum as well.
We have the momentum, so we're not afraid of Truagh Clonlara at the same time, because we have put it up to them on numerous occasions, and we'd hope to do that again now.
Well, Jim, first of all, thank you for coming over to us, and it's good to talk to you. And you have a very, very, very fine team there, and squad indeed. So we wish you the very, very best of luck in the rest of the competition. I'm going to pressurise all the top teams in this, and well capable of getting the big win over a big one, and maybe push for that trophy. So thanks for joining us. Very best of luck.
Yeah.
Continue to enjoy the great sport of the Camogie down your side.
Win over Killanena anyway. That's the main thing. Okay, thanks, sir.
And I went back to thanks, Jim. Back to Maura, Conway, and Maura. Once again, thanks to yourself as well for your very, very helpful contribution there, and your very solid analysis. But I suppose we'll take a lot of positives out of the game, even though, as expected, we lost it.
Yeah, I suppose they were up against up against a very tough opposition last week against Truagh Clonlara, and I suppose we're expecting the same again against Kilkishen Bodyke this evening. But I think overall, I think our girls stood well, considering that we are down a lot of players that we normally would have and whatever. But again, the younger girls and blooding out the younger girls before young girls blooded on the season. Great to see them coming on, and great to see them put on a display that they did put on, and they're getting involved and stepping up into the mark of senior ranks. And it's good for them as well. I suppose their underage competition with minors and under 16s and whatever, it will stand to them. And I suppose meeting more experienced players and meeting some of their idols. And these would have been some of their idols through schools and as county players and whatever. So I think they're in good stead. I suppose the margin was there this evening. In scoreline, you can see yourselves that there is quite a deficit and whatever, but I don't think that should, that won't deflate them either.
No.
They have a bye next week, so they have time now to
recharge the batteries a bit,
regain and rebuild themselves again or whatever, and set out for the next day, set their stall for the next day, and hopefully we would have more players back.
Okay, Maura.
Thanks, Maura.
And Pat, thank you very much for that.
Want to mention their kitchens again, our sponsors, thanks to them.
Absolutely. If you want a kitchen, go to their kitchens. Now, Jim, all going well. We've the right button pressed, and we should have Páraic McMahon on the line.
Hopefully we'll get Páraic this time. We left him in somewhere out in the ether the last time. Páraic, you're finished there in Cratloe.
Yeah, all over in Cratloe, and second win recorded for Truagh Clonlara, so they now have 6 points on the board. Full time 4-19 to Truagh Clonlara, 7 points to Clooney Quinn.
4-19 Truagh Clonlara.
Yeah.
7 points.
Yeah, fairly comprehensive win it sounded, Páraic.
They were dominant from the get-go, and they only scored 2-2, which you'd ascertain in the second half, but they had job done at half time. Jim Hickey could have nearly blown the full-time whistle instead of it, and most impressively was how Truagh Clonlara took their goals in the second half. Emer Kelly on 11 minutes into the second half getting a goal in the top left corner of the Clooney Quinn net. Anya O'Loughlin with an excellent hand pass to set her up on the way, and then with 46 minutes on the clock, Ellen Horgan, fantastic finish to the bottom right corner of the net as well to wrap it up. Clooney Quinn, a sobering enough experience for them to come back to the senior ranks, obviously after their win over Whitegate last year. Just 2 points in the second half. They played with Deirdre sweeper for the whole game, and just were unable to get to the level that Truagh Clonlara, whereas on the flip side, Clonlara came agonisingly close to it in the first McMahon Cup last year, really laid down a marker and showed that they're going to be the team to beat in this particular group, and they're trying to kill Killanena that will get to see what level they're at, but very dominant from them as they recorded a win second week in the row and finishing up 4-19 to 7 points in their favour.
Okay, I think Truagh Clonlara next weekend play the winning team here today, which is Kilkishen Bodyke, and it'll be interesting to see how that goes as well, because Kilkishen Bodyke beat Feakle Killanena by 115 to 9 points, so it'll be, a clash of two strong teams next week.
And Kilkishen Bodyke are going to need a win, having got the draw against Feakle Killanena, so that should be a very competitive game as well. And Kilkishen Bodyke determined to get back to the semi-finals for the second year in a row.
Yes.
So it should be making it a good game.
Okay, anyway, Páraic, I'm sure you'll have reports on all the games in the Clare Echo during the week, if not tomorrow. So listen, thanks a million for joining us today from Cratloe, and with the final score being Truagh Clonlara emerging, 215 to 6 points.
4-19 to 7 points.
Sorry, 4-19. I was looking at the half-time score, I think. 4-19 to 7 points. Okay, Páraic, many thanks.
Okay.
Brideen, it's all over in Tulla.
Yeah, all over now. 1-8 to 1-5 it finished up in favour of Eire Og.
1-8, yeah.
So it was a good day in the office.
Okay, 1-8 to 1-5. It sounded like a low-scoring, tough, hard game with nobody pulling away.
Yeah, that was kind of the way it was throughout. There was about 3 goal opportunities that Tulla saved just about on the line, so we were very unlucky not to get another goal. Just a lot of things didn't go well for us this season, and nothing really clicked, so it's just one of those evens that you kind of want to scratch off and forget about them.
I know, yes, and I suppose every club gets them, Brideen. Listen, thanks a million for that, for giving us the reports this evening, and keeping our listeners up to date on how all the games are going. Hopefully next weekend will be a better one for Tulla. So listen, thank you very much.
No bother, thanks a million.
Okay, Brideen, God bless. Bye-bye now. We should have Cormac Heffernan standing by there in Killanena. Cormac, you're all finished up there.
We are indeed, and it's finished, I suppose, at the same scoreline as last we spoke. It's 2-5 to Fairfield and 15 points to Scariff Ogonnelloe. And I suppose largely Scariff Ogonnelloe will be happy with the win, but know that they've work to do on the performance ahead of next week's game against Market. Whereas I suppose Fairfield will be largely encouraged by getting within 4 points to the county champions, and I suppose having a really resilient and strong work rate in their performance today. So they'll be encouraged coming up into the other group stage game over the coming weeks.
It will, because I would say that the average supporter would have said that Scariff Ogonnelloe would probably have won by more, but so as you say, it's a bit of a wake-up call as well for the champions.
Yeah, I think it is, and ultimately I suppose they'll know that they maybe need to use the ball a bit better, but we're challenged by the pressure they were put under by a very strong challenge from the Fairfield side. So, it's learnings all around really, but it's early days.
Yes, and of course it was too easy really last week against Kilmaley, so maybe it's from the point of view of Scariff Ogonnelloe, it's probably a good thing. But anyway, Cormac, thank you very much for reporting for us today from Killanena. Safe trip home, and please God, we'll chat to you next week when it'll be Newmarket will be the opposition.
That's right. Okay, thanks very much, Jim.
Thanks, Carmel. God bless. No, bye-bye. Yeah, we should have Carmel Dillon in Broadford. Carmel, can you hear us? Yeah. No, we're all having phone problems around the place, but as Luke said, we have put money in the meter now, so it is working. How are you? How did you finish in Broadford?
Not a good evening again for Broadford, I'm afraid. Broadford 1-5, Corofin 2-8.
Okay, so a 6-point win for Corofin.
Yeah, something like that. I haven't had 6 points. It is. Yeah, Corofin had a better the second half, I'm afraid. Broadford missed about 7 or 8 points the first half with wide balls, and I think that came to the difference of the two teams in the end, unfortunately. But Broadford played very well, and Corofin was just got better and executed their scores better than Broadford this evening.
Okay, so not a good evening in Broadford, and not a good evening over in Tulla either. Brideen was telling us, so defeat there for two of the East Clare sides. So listen, Carmel, thanks a million for joining us and for helping us out. 2-8 to 1-5, and hopefully a better weekend next week. Yeah, I gather, Davy, you're very close to the end there. Whitegate were going extremely well, 3-6 to 3 points the last time at half time we were talking to you. How are things still going the same direction?
Yeah, going the same direction, Jim. It's 3-16 now to 6 points for Clarecastle Ballyea. Dominant performance by Whitegate, especially their half-back line of Trina Kelly playing centre-back, Ellie Hines and Niamh Crock have really kept the Clarecastle Ballyea at bay. So there's a lot of Greta Hickey has scored 6 points from free. Susan Fahey was playing exceptionally. She got a lot of kind of extra treatment on the field, and just before we came on air there, she got another bang, and so she was substituted. And they brought back on Anya McDermott. Anya was in the first half. She scored 2 goals, and she made 3 or 4 points. She had an excellent game. I know last week Susan was the player of the match, but her lesser known cousin has been the player of the match today. For the size of her, she was very good. So the Hickeys played very well. They have a lot of scores got from play, but much better performance from Whitegate today than it was from Whitegate in Corofin.
So listen, 2 wins out of 2 is, and particularly I suppose the manner of it, Davy, is I know the game isn't over yet now, but I mean it's going only one direction. It must be very heartening for the supporters and for the management and for the players themselves.
Yeah, because the intermediate group, the last day the most between any of the 3 matches was 3 points, so it was a very tight group. But way better performance from Whitegate, way better all-round performance from Whitegate today. So there's Greta Hickey now after tapping over another point. So we're gone to 370 now to 6 points.
Down, I think, to play Broadford next time. Next Friday night in Broadford.
That's next Friday I presume. That'll be a good match. Yeah, Broadford are unlucky against Eire Og. They led for most of the match, and then Eire Og beat them by a point for the finish, but they were very unlucky not to come away with the win last week. So it'll be a good match between Whitegate and Broadford, it always is. So we look forward to that.
Yeah, and it was a kind of a similar story this evening for Whitegate, because we were talking to Carmel Dillon there a moment ago, and they seem to be doing well for the first half, but the opposition, Corofin, came back into it strongly, and they won by 6 points in the finish. So they're obviously a good, strong second half team. But Broadford will be up and going for the win again. They'll need that win even more than Whitegate will next week.
Oh, they will, yeah, because there's nothing between any of the teams, and a win can get you into a semi-final, so it's all to play for in Broadford next weekend. We've a Woodford referee, and he's very strict and very good.
Okay, well, sure. Someday we're going to have the referee reporting on the game for Scariff Bay Community Radio. Okay, Davy, listen, thank you very much for talking to us this evening and for bringing us and the reports on the game. And the full-time whistle, we're spot on. Okay, and delighted for Whitegate, and best of luck in the derby game on next Friday evening.
Next Friday evening. Okay, Jim, thank you very much. Right then, bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Jim, that's about it. Now, listen, before we finish, I'm going to bring Pat back in. So, Jim, you're going to give Pat a little bit of you'll talk through the results of the evening, just we'll say, for everything that took place. So if you give me about 10 seconds now, I'll put the headset on to Pat. And of course, our coverage this evening, sponsored by Derek Kitchen Design. We're very thankful to them for that.
And our outside broadcast, as usual, sponsored by Michael Long Construction. And all our sport in Scariff Bay Community Radio is sponsored by Derek Credit Union. So it's another great evening of sport. Not great for everybody, I suppose. Certainly not. Broadford and Tulla are not, celebrating this evening, but great win for Whitegate there. So I'm joined by Pat McNamara, our match commentator. Pat, you've had a little bit of a rest and maybe a glance over the scores. And I suppose looking at the senior first, Truagh Clonlara had another big win this evening.
Truagh Clonlara, Jim, are, I suppose, many people's favourites for this championship, I think, with the players they have. So many county players, so many really top class quality county players. They have them all available, I think, almost again. Becky Foley, I think, is due back very shortly, and once that'll complete the whole set then, because I know Roisin Begley is back from injury, and they have obviously Emer Kelly and Anya Loughlin and Sinead Hogg and the Powells and so many other fabulous players. There's so many good players. They should have won it last year probably, but Mairead Scanlon had other ideas. But I am surprised at the margin, definitely, no question about it. I did not expect that margin, but very, very impressive, and they will take all the beating, no question.
Yeah, and Páraic was saying that they had Deirdre Murphy playing sweeper today, but they just came up against a much superior side. And he was saying, and that's what Truagh Clonlara are.
Yeah. Well, the other thing I suppose is it was Clooney Quinn's first game, and when it's your first game, when you have a game played, management can see where maybe what players might be suited to other positions. They try things out to get a sense of their own weaknesses and strengths, and they can adjust things for the next day. I suppose Clooney Quinn were in a hiding to nothing, because it's the first day out. You don't know what you're facing. Challenges, training doesn't show you the true form of players. So we'll give them that excuse. And I mean, to hear that Deirdre Murphy was sweeping, what a servant, what a player she's been for Clooney Quinn and Clare, an outstanding individual, and good to see that she was capable of doing that role today. But again, Truagh Clonlara, very impressive. Scariff Ogonnelloe, it seems to have been less so in terms of the margin. I thought the margin might have been.
They're missing a couple. Well, they got back. Aisling Corbett was back in business today, but Susan Daly was out injured.
Okay.
Cormac was saying, and somebody I can't remember. There was one other of their regular players injured as well, or out this week with injury. But it was a little bit of a wake up call for them.
Well, Jimmy, I suppose in the round games, it's about getting the 2 points and winning the game. I mean, the margins are another story. Winning by big margins often gives you a false sense of yourself. So these players now, they've given management enough rope to tell them that you have to dig in and train harder, and you weren't able to beat maybe a not overly strong Dura Bearfield side. So it gives fuel to the management to drive them on again, and I think Scariff Ogonnelloe are well capable of taking that driving on, and those players are very, very mature.
And the game that you were commentating on this evening, and the winners this evening, Kilkishen Bodyke, they're up against Truagh Clonlara next week. So that'll be a stiffer test for Truagh Clonlara.
It'll be a very, very good game to watch, and we'll be hoping Pat O'Brien might be able to give us a full rundown on that if we can get to. Maybe we can get to it, I'm not sure. But Kilkishen Bodyke, impressive enough this evening in ways, as in we don't want to be overstating the fact that Killanena Feakle were down a few players and J1s, and there's an injury or two as well. I mean, what team can afford to be without Regan Conway, Robin Conway, her cousin, who's in America. Ella McNamara is another really, really good defender. Rachel McNamara, Lorna's older sister as well, and Maeve Brady, who was outstanding in that intermediate final 2 years ago, taking a year off. So those are players the smaller clubs can't do without. But having said that, Kilkishen Bodyke did what they had to do. Kate O'Gorman came into it at the end. I thought Caoimhe Kelly was outstanding all through. Kate Lynch outstanding in the first half. And as for Elena Ryan, she's an absolute just an iconic centre back, an absolutely wonderful player. I love watching her play. She's so direct, so determined, and so strong, and so forceful, and just dominated. So they will give Truagh Clonlara a right rattle, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
Mightn't be good enough to beat them, but I think they'll give them a fair rattle.
And Scariff Ogonnelloe, of course, next week are up against the team they beat in the final, in the county final 3 years ago now, Newmarket and Fergus.
Yeah, and Newmarket and Fergus put a big effort in with Fintan McNamara, my own clubmate at Killanena, and an old former hurling mate of ours, and very much involved in Camogie for many years in the top class ref as well. So Fintan has said that they've put a lot of effort in, and he was hopeful of doing well. Newmarket players are well able to mix it. They have a few newer players come in, I believe, and a few very strong established players as well. So I think Newmarket and will give Scariff a good game. They have beaten them in a big game as in recent memory, so they won't hold that fear, and that's a good test. And I think Newmarket are going to be very competitive, as are the top 6 or 7 teams in this championship are very competitive with each other. It looks like Truagh Clonlara now are putting up big scores, but apart from that, the other teams, Eire Og are very strong as well, but only drew with Kilkishen Bodyke the last day. So Newmarket could be a stiff challenge, no question about it.
And looking at before we finish, at the intermediate championship, and that's a fair championship now. And that'll Whitegate. We were talking to Davy Solan there just a few moments ago, and Whitegate had a good win tonight, and their second win, and they're up against Broadford next, and they're visiting Broadford, I think. Yes, next Friday evening. So that'll be another cracking game.
Yeah, Whitegate seem to be in a very, very good place. Broadford were beaten this evening, I believe, by Eire Og. So
yes, by 6 points.
They'll be disappointed in that. Whitegate, having lost last year's final, and I think that was the previous year's final as well. Whitegate obviously going well again. Again, I suppose without patronising them, the amount of effort they're putting in down there in curling and camogie, without any amalgamations, no assistance from other clubs, and they're just producing players and producing teams that go to Pride and play top class camogie, and in a great place, looking like they may be able to hit for that final again this year. I know there might be many a slip twixt cup and lip is an old phrase, but Whitegate's certainly very, very impressive, and Broadford will be disappointed from the East Clare point of view. Broadford, I'm sure, disappointed. They look like a club on the up, but maybe it's only one blip, and hopefully they'll come back strong as well. But Whitegate certainly looking good.
Yeah, and Broadford, and just finally Tulla as well. Very, very close game, very tight game, but just didn't cross the line at the end, and it was a win by Corofin,
wasn't it? Yes. Yeah. Tulla,
Eire Og.
Tulla putting a lot of effort into camogie as well, and a lot of good young players there, a lot of good people involved as well. And I suppose I won't say they're a sleeping giant, because they mightn't have done an awful lot of major achievements in camogie in the past, that much anyway. But they have the population. They have the school obviously there is a great springboard for talent as well to be nurtured, and they're putting the effort in at underage level. So I'd say their day will come eventually. It might take another year or two, but hopefully they will. From an East Clare point of view, again, we want to see the East Clare clubs doing very well and developing and being strong and being competitive. So hopefully they will turn the corner and get a victory soon as well.
Okay, well, it's beginning to get dark here in Garteen, the home of St. Joseph's Dura Bearfield. So we'd like to thank them this evening, Dura Bearfield, for allowing us in and facilitating us. Our thanks to Derg Credit Union, who are our sponsors, our sports sponsors, Michael Long Construction, who sponsor our outside broadcast unit. And this evening's game was sponsored by Derg Kitchens, and they're in Tumgraney. And our thanks go to them and to all our sponsors who make bringing these games possible. And hopefully, wherever you were listening this evening, whether it was here in East Clare or right around the world, we hope you enjoyed our coverage of the camogie. So for the moment, until next Friday night, wherever we'll be doing one match and reporting on all the others. Many thanks from Pat McNamara, our commentator, Maura Conway, the analyst, and from Luke and myself, Jim. Many thanks, and we'll see you soon.